we get into businesses or jobs, et cetera, because we need to make a few bucks, trying to make a living, develop a career. But we find ourselves at a place where we're not experiencing fulfillment in the middle of that. And I think I have a solution, my friend.
This is the Untamed Podcast, where only the few dare to go. We're building a community of adventurous high achievers who refuse to trade our dreams for comfortable mediocrity so that we can unleash our untamed potential. Could you be one of the untamed few? Now, your untamed hosts, Mark Lucas and Joel Fritz.
Mark, my brother, look at this place.
Here we are, my friend.
Look at this
back where we started, actually, on this patio.
Yeah, we haven't shot out here since then.
I know.
So this is a great day.
It is a beautiful day. The weather is amazing.
Shade, you get the lake in the background.
Some leaves are falling even as we speak.
Landscapers galore. We're dodging galore. The landscapers.
Dogs going out of the doggy door as we speak. Yeah. It is a beautiful day.
And it's good to be here with you, bro.
It's good to be here with you, my friend. Yeah.
Well, I got some ideas for today. So let me throw this out at you and see if a discussion comes out of this. We're going to be as casual as possible, but have as much fun as possible. But I keep thinking about how often we talk to guys that are challenged to find meaning and fulfillment in their jobs.
Yep.
Or as business owners, because ultimately any business, fundamentals of success for a business are going to be based on profit, because if the business doesn't make money, then what's the point of having a business, right? Mm-hmm. But part of the result of that is that we get into businesses or jobs, et cetera, because we need to make a few bucks, trying to make a living, develop a career. But we find ourselves at a place where we're not experiencing fulfillment in the middle of that. Mm-hmm. And I think I have a solution, my friend.
What you got?
The solution has a lot to do with whether or not they see mission inside of their business. And so I've got some stories and some thoughts, experiences that I've had with people who have been very successful in business and the way that they see their business as a mission. And so I think it's really important for our guys to consider that, whether it be they have a role where they have influence with people at a larger company and they hold a leadership role. Can they see their guys as part of their mission in life, as part of their cause? And what would that maybe look like? If they actually own a business, how do they actually infuse or inject mission into that business in order that they can experience more than just the feelings of what it feels like to make a few bucks, right? Something more deeper. So what do you think?
I love this conversation. Let's dive in.
All right.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, well, I think originally all these ideas kind of come from experiences that I had in my 20s. Probably, if I look at it, my entire life, but experiences that I had in my 20s as a young youth pastor, watching some of the business owners at our church. And I found it really incredible to see the way that they would interact with their employees, because they didn't just treat a few of these guys, not all of them, but a few of these guys didn't just treat their employees like employees trying to get them to do jobs. They treated them like people that they wanted to see thrive and flourish. Mm-hmm. And I think that made an impression on me. I know it made an impression on me because I'm talking about it today.
You're not 20 anymore, so
I'm not 20
still
anymore.
With
you. Well said.
A few years past 20.
A few years past. What? 3, 4?
Just
I've made it to my 30s now.
Just a scotch. Yes.
So I just thought I was impressed with that. And over the years, I've seen more, and I'll get into a few of those stories. But I remember there was this one guy, and he, I'll share the very specific memory. There was this prayer breakfast every single Good Friday around Easter time in Tucson, Arizona. And what they would do is they get a bunch of business owners to buy a table. And this is kind of standard operating procedure for, well, you guys know, what am I talking about? I don't need to explain it. Yeah.
They know.
You buy the table, you give the foundation a donation, the whole deal, right? So it's a fundraiser for a good cause, but ultimately they'd have this great speaker. I mean, I saw Wayne Huizenga speak at one. I've told some stories about him, very interesting stuff. But these guys would bring their employees. And so the one person I'm thinking of had a construction type of a business. So there were some pretty rough dudes showing up, but they would bring their entire team, which meant I think he bought like 2 tables of 10 to bring a significant portion of his team. And these guys would come in on Good Friday and go to the Good Friday prayer breakfast. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. So not only did it cost them a lot of money, But these guys were very out of place, if you would, because there's a lot of suits and ties. The element is a lot more like the financial planners of the world. Right. These kind of guys, a lot more white collar, and these blue collar dudes that show up, and take over these tables. And I just loved it. I loved it because it spoke about something deeper than the jobs that these guys could perform. It spoke about their humanity and the concern that boss had for the people that worked for him, not the people and what they could do.
It's really good. And it even brings me back to that. We had an episode on this, and I'm trying to remember if it was a president that I think first said this. But anyways, that quote that says, people don't want to know what you know until they know how much you care.
It's Teddy, right?
Teddy Roosevelt, you're right. And I think that just really is the embodiment of being infused with mission, purpose, and meaning when it comes to the marketplace, when it comes to the privilege and the opportunity that we have as leaders of others, that privilege we've been given to really have possibly a paradigm shift to make sure that that's not out of focus. Like as I even just step into a new role right now of leading others, I'm even reflecting right now as you're speaking and asking myself, even just in the first kind of few steps that I've taken in this journey, what does it look like for me to make sure that I don't miss sight of this? Because at the end of the day, the people, not the tasks they do, not the function or the role they play, but the people that are within the organization that you're either leading or a part of. When we really have a mindset to say, how do I really show them that I care? How do I really elevate them, encourage them, challenge them, support them, push them to grow exponentially, and really growth maybe be even more inside out growth to become an even better person because of them rubbing shoulders and interacting with us? That is where the rubber meets the road when it comes to really coming back to the impetus of how we started. We started by saying that Untamed is helping men find meaning and purpose in their everyday lives.
Yeah.
So when we get back to the roots of how we started, that's what it's all about. How do we look in the mirror every morning and really ask ourselves and identify, is there meaning and purpose that I'm infusing into the relationships of other people, in the interactions that I'll have today with other people? How will I impact their life? And not impact my bottom line, that be the only focus, because that is in focus, that's important. Not impact the task and the function they play, but how do I truly have an impact in their life? And I think we all, myself included, can get misaligned with that. That can become a bit muddy and cloudy. And even just this week, I'm like, have I done that well with the people that I have the privilege to lead? And what type of leader, even just in the course of the first week, have I become within this organization? And those are some great questions that we want to ask, and great questions that you're bringing to the surface today. So I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool. Yeah. It's one of the things I think that we don't often consider is how does that actually affect us as well. Maybe we get a little bit blinded in the course of it, in the success portion. And so whether it be leading to try and attain a goal, or whether it be leading in order to attain profit, leading, what's the goal of what you're trying to accomplish? But then you bring people into the mix and you think, okay, you're going to fill this role, you're going to fill this role, and everybody comes together and the team starts to win together. But then on the other side of it, we talk to a lot of guys who are lacking fulfillment in their lives.
Right.
So part of this actually becomes, if we can, let me say that like this, if we can inject mission into the things that we do, and when I say mission, not the mission of accomplishing the goals that we've laid out for the business, but the mission of seeing people's lives get better, in like infecting our employees' lives in a good way. Right. That becomes like a cause in and of itself. If we can make our employees better people, if businesses can make their employees the best and offer them the greatest opportunities for their own personal growth and invest in them, then the reward is actually going to come back onto them because they're seeing that as their mission. So their mission can be, and it's not competitive with the organization, which is fascinating. I think sometimes you might be able to make an argument that would say, if I invest in the employees' lives, then am I getting every ounce of profit that I can? But would you be willing to trade that little bit of profit that you might be missing out on in order to see a big win with your employees, which in the end will ultimately do two huge things, really affect the culture of the business, the status of the business, probably the long-term success of the business, and provide you with fulfillment. And I think many business owners, many bosses, many people with influence within an organization miss out on that. Right. They wonder where their fulfillment is in it. Yeah. And I think it's just like this little tweak that people could make. They could recognize, oh, I'll derive a tremendous amount of fulfillment if I'm investing in the people.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the things that sometimes I miss as well, but the reality is we're just looking at just a cost analysis here. When you look at retention of your people, you look at the cost of what it takes to truly take in replacements and train them, and the cost of overturn of employees and turnover of people. It's a high cost. It's a high cost financially. It's a high cost in your time. And yet, if you really ask yourself in this missional conversation, how do you infuse mission into what we do in the marketplace? And what does that look like with the people that we get to lead and the people that are right in front of us? When you think about that, that's talking about culture. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I would argue to say that maybe the most important thing in any company, of any entity, of any business, is culture. Mm-hmm. So what we're talking right now about, missionally being focused on the mission, is the people, and how we can have an impact, a positive impact in the lives of the people that God puts in front of us. Yeah. That is maybe at the root what will impact culture the most. Yeah. And what will create a stickiness to the people and the retention that they have, that people might even have possibly advancement for opportunity in their career elsewhere, and yet they choose to stay with that culture because there's just something about the unity and the connection and the collaboration and the overall ethos of what that culture represents in the leadership that's missionally focused about how their boss, their direct report, their leader cares for them. That I think is invaluable. Mm-hmm. There's no price tag that I think any company can put on that. So what we're talking about really does have a great bottom line as well. Yeah. And at the end of the day, we might not necessarily see it right up front. And at the end of the day, it's the hard work. This is not the easy step. The easy step is just to manage people to do their function and to manage the KPIs and the CRM or wherever they're being managed with the stopwatch and the metrics that we have in place for them. And yes, all that matters deeply, but we're talking about a whole nother level that really has to do with a human compassion level. People. The people are the mission. That truly is the heartbeat and the lifeblood of what you do. Because when the people are in a place where they're embracing that culture and they feel loved and they feel valued, then your cause becomes truly clear. And you even think about like the cause piece. This is years ago and there's multiple examples. But let's take Tom's and the shoes, for instance. When their CEO made a decision and said, you buy a pair of Tom's shoes, we give a pair back in a third world country. Okay? The origin of that started way before the desire of that CEO to have a desire to live for something beyond himself and beyond his bottom line and beyond just what he saw within his company. That was already in place. There was a human desire for him as the CEO to connect and be missionally connected with his people, so much so that they came to a place collectively, as I read the story, where they wanted to collectively have an impact globally in the way they could impact globally, which is making shoes and putting what is maybe needed in the top 5 things that people need, putting shoes and protection on the feet of people that couldn't afford shoes. And again, we've seen sandwich shops. Even in Arizona, there was a sandwich shop that was actually based in Utah. They did this. You walk into the sandwich shop, and again, every sandwich that was purchased, there was a sandwich given away. And there was a huge metric in every sandwich shop that was counting down and counting up, actually, every single sandwich that had been given away.
Yeah.
When you start to see that, and again, this is missional cause. At the end of the day, I would even go beyond just having a mission statement for the people that are within the corporation and the company that you lead or the company that you're a part of. Yeah, start there. But I think it's even beyond that to say, okay, when we start to believe with the people that are around us, mission truly is living for something bigger than yourself. When we start to have that mindset, there is just this radical joy and this radical contentment and this radical infused mission that's injected into us that is like jacked up on mission juice. I mean, it is awesome to see what happens within a company when you start to give back that way.
Yeah, there's a phrase that I love, and it's circulating all over the place, has been for a few years in like business podcasts and business leaders and all that kind of stuff. And it says, culture eats vision for breakfast. And it is true, because you can have a vision and share that vision with people. And that's a very important component, that communication of clear vision. But then people start to fill their roles. But if that culture doesn't support them, if that culture doesn't ultimately support the vision, which means supporting the people who are fulfilling the vision, then the vision just won't go all that far. You won't find the momentum that you're really looking for. But these things that we're talking about, they take into play. I mean, it's making a tweak in your organizational structure to say, hey, the people are important. What do the people need? How can I focus on them? Now, we do see examples of, we think about amazing culture creators, I guess, like the biggest of the big, Steve Jobs, or Elon Musk. And what they are doing is that they're creating the place that they want their business to arrive. They create a mission mindset, right? That's what's extraordinary, is that a guy like Elon Musk can say, we're going to get to Mars and we're going to do it by this time. I mean, even JFK was able to do that many years ago. And he say, like, by 1969, we're going to be by the end of the 60s, we're going to be on the moon. Right. And everybody gathers around that because that's so mission oriented. And definitely saying that, but also saying, well, part of that mission and part of where you're going to find fulfillment, there still could be a lack of fulfillment. If everybody gets to Mars or everybody got to the moon, it's exciting. But there's also this other part about it, the cause of the bettering of people's lives. All of it plays in with each other. And I just really want to accentuate that, because they're not at competition with one another. And I think too often business owners or leaders think that they are in competition with one another. You can't keep an employee in mind and their best interest in mind and the best interest of the company. And often that is true, because, honestly, I've seen, after leading some businesses, I do see that employees oftentimes are trying to dismantle the success of the company without knowing it, right? There's got to be an individual who's committed to the success of the business. But part of what that individual is going to find fulfillment is by seeing and investing in the lives of the people, and that becoming part of their cause. And I think that I just wish that every single business owner out there could recognize that, to the degree that they would say, my employees are a big part of the mission. My employees are a part of my cause. They have been given to me, and I need to see them as my cause, their best life, whatever that looks like. And oftentimes for you and I, that would look like, a spiritual awareness, a healthy body, a healthy mind, their opportunity to engage and make the world around them a better place. All of that. And thinking about how a boss can provide that, they have the ability to do that. And I think that's very powerful leadership that actually comes full circle and lands back on them. And I just want our guys to hear that and to understand what a blessing that can be to them while it infects their whole organization towards success and the people who are in the organization.
Yeah, it's really well said. And I think at the end of the day, you mentioned that quote that has been circulating around the business circles for a long time. And culture, like you said, it'll eat strategy and vision. And I think a lot of times when it comes to the strategy, we become very focused, even laser focused on the strategies that we're always trying to refine. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if we lose sight of the culture in that, culture will eat strategy for breakfast, just like vision. It will eat that strategy for breakfast. And I think at the end of the day, we look at the lens of culture, we look at the lens of our missional statements, the people. I think I've been wrestling a lot, even in my home, but also in where I am in the marketplace right now with how do we live for something bigger than ourselves? What does it look like for us as a corporation to give back, to impact the lives or the communities around us? What does that look like? And I think when you have that desire, when you have that drive, when you have that propelling you forward with the team around you, and you begin to say, as a team, we're going to take that hill together, and that hill is going to be a hill on profit, obviously, is going to be a hill on growth, is going to be a hill on all the KPIs. However, when you really begin to take a hill that says together we're going to go have an impact in the community and the lives of other people, and we're never going to lose sight of how much we compassionately care about the people that we're doing this with, there's some galvanizing strength that does in the team where there is just this purpose that's galvanized, this oneness, this cohesion of connection that happens to the point of I'm even thinking through, like even right now in the season that I'm in right now in this place, I'm like, who can we impact around us in the city? What resources, what ability, what talents, what things can we do to have an impact on the people around us? And when you begin to think that way, and you begin to bring other people into that conversation and into the passion of where that conversation lies, there's just not a person around that asks themselves, when I served somebody else, whether it be a soup kitchen, whether it be a habit for humanity, building a house, whether it be whatever it might be, an opportunity of serving somebody else. There's just so much joy and there's so much fulfillment and mission that comes into our souls when that happens.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm just to remind myself and remind those with us right now, let's not lose sight of that. Let's not lose sight of how valuable and how important that living for something bigger than yourself is. That's got to be impressed upon our homes. That's got to be impressed upon the marketplace, the communities that we run in, the circles that we run in. And when we begin to take some ground in that way, oh, it's good. It is good to see the beautiful joy and the beautiful missional piece that we get from that.
Yeah, I got two examples. You're mentioning Habitat for Humanity. A lot of people do see a corporation kind of has the ability to do a bigger project than an individual has to do on their own. Some individuals that we're talking to, you do have the ability, and I'd encourage you to step out and not forget about that because you've probably done it at some point. Maybe now you're like, well, maybe I don't have enough energy in this season of life. But to lose that is to lose a little bit, of this meaning, purpose, and fulfillment, that cause, living for something bigger than yourself. So we don't want to let that fall off, right? Our radar screens. But as a company, you have some more resources. So going out and building a house somewhere with your team, it can be a very fulfilling experience. I know a guy in Phoenix who does that on a yearly basis. takes his team. And you know what's funny is sometimes the team doesn't want to go. He really has to lead in that too. But in the end, the actual impact is, well, think about it. If your team goes and does something together, then they're going to get to know each other better. They're going to strive toward a goal. It's also a goal where they're not being critiqued on the role that they're playing, because it's not a role that's that their livelihood is contingent upon. They're doing something outside of that, so they're going to act a little bit different. You get to see personalities. You get to see different sides of your staff that you don't see at work, because, I mean, people, they're oftentimes one person at work, one person at home, one person in a society context, etc. So going out and doing this stuff is really fascinating what actually happens. But people who do have the resources should totally go and do that, like my buddy does on a yearly basis. And then I think of a more simple illustration. I was having lunch with a guy a couple weeks ago, and he is just so impassioned about being able to talk to his employees and spend time with his employees. And so he does this little Bible study I think it's Thursday mornings. I can't remember exactly, but he goes and he buys biscuits for the guys. I forget what biscuit place.
Straight Southern.
Yeah,
Southern
exactly.
Man, yeah.
Buys biscuits. So he's essentially buying them some sort of breakfast. He said all of them show up, right? All the employees show up for biscuits
in the South.
Yeah. And then he does a little prayer thing. And, some people want to participate, some people don't, but they're all there. And he says it's a really neat time, and it does provide that opportunity where when you're invested in their lives like that and they go and fill the job, they see you as a leader, and you're offering opportunity for them to come and ask you bigger questions about about life at times when they're facing real challenges. And I think oftentimes the guys that we're talking to just kind of forget that, or they don't see themselves in the same light that their employees see them. But when you lead, you put yourself in a position for people to see you as not only a leader in the field that you're leading in. So this is a critical concept, that you understand that if you're a leader in one field, people see you as a leader in other fields as well. And so that being the case, an employee who may be going through a difficult and challenging season in their life would have a very easy time talking to you about that, because they already see you as a person who is a leader in this other area. And I say that all the time to business owners, because they need to get it. And not just business owners, but managers, anybody who has influence and or even people who have a skill or profession that people look up to, right? Like karate and jujitsu instructors, pickleball coaches, professionals. It's like people are already looking up to you to teach them something. So it's a very thin line for them to ask you and to be taught or share things with you about their personal lives, because you might have some sort of knowledge to share with them on that.
Yeah. No, it's a great insight. And I think you're right. I think there's always something that we can do, regardless of how large in scale or small in scale the company is. There's always an opportunity for us to go, again, that family acronym that I hit a lot, forget about me, I love you. There's always a way for us to go, forget about ourselves for a moment with our team of 3, team of 2, team of 3,000, and figure out within the scale to be able to go and serve other people. My mom was just telling me actually this week, we had this opportunity years ago when my dad passed away and went to heaven. I promised my dad at the very end of his life, I said, Dad, I'm going to call Mom every day, Monday through Friday, and I'm going to connect with her, and we're going to have a phone call. And just this week when we were connecting, she shared that she's now in a group with other ladies, and every single week on Tuesday morning, there's a different organization that they're going to serve. And she said, Mark, it is amazing just now 2 weeks into it. It's amazing just the connection that we're already having, because it's not about us. It's about them. And I think when we all, myself included, that's the we, when we all get into more of a mindset of saying, if I'm really honest with myself, I can be pretty selfish. I can be pretty focused on the things that I'm wanting and desiring, even within the scope of my business. And I can get real myopic in my view of just seeing that. Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm like, Lord, help me. Help us be more focused and grow in the ways that we can be others focused and not just so me focused.
Hmm.
And this is a perfect opportunity in this conversation to do a hard look in the mirror, to ask yourself, how can I really grow in this area? What does growth look like in this area as I step into the workplace this week? As I step into the workplace, what does it look like for me to be more focused on others? The people that I care. The mission is the people that I care so much about. Think through, I've said this before, but think through the people that you know that's in the calendar, people you'll be meeting with in that day. But don't just think about the agenda of what you want to accomplish in the task and the to-do list that you have for the individuals in that meeting. Think about the people that will attend that meeting and think through, where are they right now in their season of life? What have they shared with you? What are they going through? And if it's a blank stare, like you're looking into the headlights, deer in the headlight, then you've got some work to do to be able to ask some very thought-provoking, gentle questions, to be able to, again, to listen is to love, but to be able to listen and ask good questions about their family, their life, what's going on in their life. And just listen. Take note of what they're saying. Hold on to it. Really process it to a place of compassion and care and empathy so that you can lead with greater strength to be missionally focused on connecting with the people that you have to lead.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, if you are struggling with fulfillment in your life, why don't you ask that question, some of these questions that we have offered today, and ask yourself, have I missed this opportunity that I have in the sphere of influence that I've been given to see the people that I have responsibility with as part of my mission, as part of my cause? Because we're all looking for a cause. So maybe that cause is right in front of you, and you will probably be surprised how much fulfillment, meaning, purpose just falls right back on top of you. So we hope you have a great week, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. And hopefully you can enjoy a little weather like Mark Q and I are enjoying right now.
Amen
It's pretty
to that.
sweet.
Love it.
If this episode sparked something in you, please subscribe and even share it with someone who's ready to take their life to the next level. We're always on the hunt for men who are looking to become untamed and release their untamed potential. Also, if you found value in this conversation, then please rate the podcast and leave a comment. It makes a huge impact in building our community. We'll see you next time when the adventure continues, or maybe when yours begins.